Welcome one and all to a glistening Saturday in the Palmetto State. We greet you amidst a real buzz here in Malden, South Carolina, where tonight's contest is brought to you by ScanSource, a summer for soccer in full swing, and a tantalizing tie in the USL League One approaching as one of the most irresistible sides in the division. AV Alta stretch across the country to face a stalling Greenville triumph. With former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I am Peyton Gallagher. Gary, as we look at this Greenville team, been up and down, but the home form has been undeniable.
Well, it's a new stadium and there's a new buzz about it, and if you can keep that home form going, then the crowd are going to be pleased. The players will be pumped up, and that's what they need. They've got to start climbing up that table, but a win today only clips them 4 points off a playoff place, and they can start to believe that they're going to have a great end to the season.
Of course, a big part of why they have been so proficient at home, Greenville, has been Azad Liadi, their leading light. He has been a marquee man in these home fixtures today.
Well, he's got everything at this level. He's got pace, he's got a finishing ability, he's got assists as well. He had assists for Akio against Loudon. He had the only goal of the game against Forward Madison, so he pops up when he is needed, and he is the leading light for this Greenville Triumph side.
He will have to be his very sharpest against an AV Alta side that have left nothing to the imagination with their form as of late. 7 games unbeaten, hot to trot as they enter into this one.
So good going forward. Struggled early on in the season. They've had difficulty scoring goals, but since then they've been flying in 4 against Cosmos, 3 against Sarasota, Paradise. So they've really been scoring goals from every position, even from here. What's this, 35, 40 yards out, chipping the goalkeeper. Have been absolutely fantastic in front of goals.
They have been flying in from all places in and around this team, but Jerry Desdoon has been playing that key role, leading the line for Brian Claben. His team, and as the league's leader in chances created, he will be stirring the drink from the outset.
4 goals, 3 assists, and as we saw there, just set up Colin Anderson for the winner against Spokane Velocity. A game very similar to Azad Liadi. He's got the pace, he's got the finishing ability, he can lead the team up front, as you can see there, as you mentioned, in chances created, and he's a man they will be looking to go forward and score the goals for AV Alta today.
Haitian will be looking to lower the haymakers right from the off as we are set for kickoff here in South Carolina. When we return, the action flies off the handle. Greenville Triumph and AV Alta in the USL League One. All coming to you up next here from Malden.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. Rolled up sleeves, breaking through, growing power to meet growing needs, working to run the world on smarter energy every day, taking power where the grid's never been, then getting up and doing it again. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
When I was in high school, my coach liked to say, "You don't rise to low expectations." And that's just always stuck with me. With the help of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to get a degree in secondary education. Now it's my turn to invest in my athletes, the same way my coaches did for me. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll do the same for someone else.
Better coaches means a better South Carolina. And a better South Carolina means a better you.
It started with a painful play. Then a team that rallied. A surgeon who made it look easy. And a therapist who pushed just the right amount. Orthopedic care from start to finish at Prisma Health. We're not just here to heal, we're here for good.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. Rolled up sleeves, breaking through, growing power to meet growing needs, working to run the world on smarter energy every day, taking power where the grid's never been, then getting up and doing it again. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
Team news rolling in here, and for Greenville coming off that heavy defeat at the last match against Westchester, it's a couple of changes here for Dave Dixon.
Yeah, starting goal, Seth Torman obviously gets a start. Amal Knight suspended due to the red card. Kamito Fritz and Patrick Segrist come in those wing-back positions for Lucas Meek and Tyler Pollock. And then Brigham Larson on loan gets his debut up front. William Akio goes down to the bench, and of course Azad Liadi, the big threat up front for Greenville Triumph.
On the other side of things for AV Alta, Brian Claben has been pulling all the right strings, pressing all the right buttons, only the single change for him today.
Yeah, Eric Gonzalez comes in at centre back for Miguel Pajaro is not available in that 4-2-3-1 sort of shape. The attacking threat, 12 goals from Desdoon, Omesh and Antwi. That's more than the entire Greenville squad has scored so far this year.
It is certainly a contest of contrast in that way with Alta. The ascendant offense, Greenville, on the lowest scoring sides in the league today. Of course, all things have changed for Greenville. At home this year, 9 of their 10 league goals have been scored in the various venues where they have worn their home strip. GE Vernova Park in its third match as the home site for the Triumph. It has treated them quite well, and they will take aim at AV Alta here today, a side that have gone 7 games now without feeling the sting of defeat. Again, with the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I am Peyton Keller. The atmosphere is bumping. These fans certainly excited. Soccer is in the air this time of the year of the World Cup, capturing the imagination of so many. That puts an extra degree of spark in the grounds. Grady River Riot back behind the goal and back providing the ambient sounds amidst flailing flags and a sense of urgency. Greenville compelled to start finding the results in the league. Only 3 victories on the year, and all of those coming at home this season. Mohamed Kalia is the center official who will send us underway. Greenville in the customary green, AV Alta in the away gray. And sprayed straight away and into the corner by Adam Omish. And we are off from the state of South Carolina. Greenville in the league, only 1 win. In their last 8 games, only scored 2 goals in that stretch. Alta have been banging them in, but beyond just the finishing improving, they have really been resolute on the defensive end. Only 1 goal allowed in the last 434 live minutes. Trying to maybe get one straight away. Here's the new addition, Brigham Larson. A lot of size in that frame. Alter things on the front end for Greenville, who grabbed hold of the ball for the first time.
Important match for Greenville, desperate to get some points here and close up to that playoff line. If they win here today, depending on other results, of course, they could be as close as 4 points off a playoff spot. And as you mentioned, 2 wins out of 2 at their new home here, GE Vernova Park. If they got a 3rd win from 3, you might find a whole belief starts growing in the side, especially on home turf, that they can go all the way to the playoffs and perhaps further. So 3 points, absolutely massive here for the home side today.
Very compelling first 180 minutes from the Triumph here at GE Vernova Park. Taking that 1-0 win over Forward Madison with a franchise record crowd in the opener, and then really putting the sword to Loudoun United, a game that was 3-0 into the absolute last of that contest. A consolation goal late to get the first foul of the contest, called by Mohamed Kalia. There's an AV Alta team that love to dominate. Feel like the ball is something that is in their possession. They own it. And they will knock it around in what is a very narrow field today. Greenville using that fact to their advantage and winning it, but giving it right back. Pelivanov encouraged to plow forward, the big center back who's gone bustling into the tackle. And will be an immediate yellow card. Anthony Patti puts himself in and stops the attack, but you see himself put in the book 2 minutes in.
Yeah, definitely yellow card there. Patti knew what he was doing. It was a professional foul in the sense that he knew he was in trouble here. The ball had been knocked past. Pelivanov there was going into green space close to the box, and you had to stop him somehow. The problem is, though, as a central defender, you are now on a yellow card just minutes into a game, which means every single thing you do from now on has to be very carefully calculated. Otherwise, it's a second yellow and you're off.
It's a great point, and with an AV Alta team that are going to dominate the ball and sit on the edge of the final third, it will be a very stressful 88 minutes to come for Anthony Patti. I have to imagine that will start immediately with this set piece. Greenville have allowed 4-headed goals this year. Jerry Desdune will go for goal and test the gloves of the deputy goalkeeper, Seth Dorman, spelling them all night, who got the red card last time out against Westchester.
A straightforward catch there for Seth Torman. It was right into his midriff. Didn't even have to move. Desdune not able to put it either side of the goalkeeper. And there's Larson, 6'4" plus minus. He's going to cause AV Alta central defenders a few problems tonight, I would think.
20-year-old from Oslo. Wasn't getting many minutes with the defending champs in the USL Championship, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. A very talented player, and just in the nature of having that much size and that much athleticism, can really potentially offer something immediately to Greenville up front.
Certainly can. I just wonder if there might be a combination between him and Azad Liadi, and that one is quick and get on the end of the ball, the other one is big and can flick it on. It might be a very, very powerful combination up front for Greenville.
Certainly plays into how the Triumph have altered their approach on the attacking end. Wanted to become a very possessionally focused team with Dave Dixon. Start of the year we saw that. Been much more against the ball as of late. And they will bound towards the box here with Devin Boyce. Well-shaped ball in. Larson goes down. The referee's going to think about it. It's out over the end line, and it will be biteless in the end, just a goal kick.
Well, that's the big threat from the big man up front. As he gets himself in those dangerous positions, you can see Devin Boyce straight away looking to put it there for him. There's definitely contact. The problem is the ball's already gone by. So if he was about to head the ball and that contact had come, then maybe there's a good shot for a penalty. But already you can see maybe a change in style from Greenville. Try and get the ball wide, whip it in to Brigham Larson, and he gives you an option, or knock it on the ground to Azad Liadi and use his pace.
Confiscated by Desdune, who sees the keeper off his line. Seth Thorman will recover and well enough time to catch it. Energetic start. A lot to sink the teeth into, and a chance maybe to look at the Acumen IT keys to the game, Gary. As you see it, I think we're already getting a good sample of why these might be important points.
Yeah, for Greenville, Dave Dixon said we've got to make them play wide. They are dangerous through the middle. Well, you've seen a couple of runs, as you mentioned, through that middle. And for AV Alta, be more vertical. Brian Claiborne saying we're playing well, but I'd like to see us be quicker, just knock the ball up and through the middle and see if we can get on the end of it. So we'll just see how those keys play out in the rest of this match.
Brian Claiborne now year 2 with this project, the only manager that they have known in the Antelope Valley. You very easily get intoxicated talking to the man about his romance for the sport and the way he wants to play, always looking for that extra little bit of inspiration in the play for AV Alta.
I think both coaches we had the pleasure of chatting to, and both of them want to talk football. They want to discuss it. They want to go into detail. We even talked about the World Cup and games like that, especially with Brian Claiborne. And I just think that if you're a player on either of these sides, you've got coaches who really are interested in you and your progress. And I think those are wonderful coaches to play for.
Brian even went as far as in our conversation with him today ahead of the match. This is a bit of a bounding ball back to the goalkeeper, Seth Dorman, able to steal it away. We were going to get off the call and let him get to the business of getting ready for this game that was only hours away. He stopped us, Gary, and said, no, what do you think about this World Cup? How are we seeing things? Got to have a nice chat with him about that.
Yeah, and his point was that he, and I'm sure it's same with Dave Dixon when he gets a moment, they want to learn, what are the top coaches in the world doing? What changes are they making in the middle of matches?
Of course, there's no hydration break, quarters, for them to maybe tweak the approach, but it's a very well-made point by you. Brian Claiborne has spent time at the heel of some of the best managers in the history of the game. And this ball is entered into the top of the box. Stabbing tackle by Peli Vanov will take it off the toes of the late arriving Devin Boyce, and danger done away with.
Again, it's another good ball knocked into the box there from Greenville Triumph, and they've been going wide, knocking balls in, whereas AV Alta have been going direct and through the middle. Two, at this stage, contrasting styles, but again, you change your style as you go through the match, and you might play the game differently depending on whether you're up or down. But it has been interesting that Greenville Triumph have attacked down, particularly down the right-hand side, whipping balls in to dangerous areas.
Well, we heard from Azad Liadi. It's all been targeted towards the new big man, Brigham Larson. The Alta team that grows more and more dangerous, the greater sense of rhythm for a game they have, and Greenville to this point have done a very nice job of breaking that up. Direct bit of service in behind, probing to the top of the area, and Camilo Fritz will meet the moment, sweeping away what will be a throw.
Back to those keys, that's that direct verticality that Brian Claiborne wanted from his team, and they get themselves a throw in the attacking half. So it can work, and it can certainly put the opposing team, Greenville in this case, under all sorts of pressure.
There's dropping between the center backs. Seha Gonzalez kept alive in a tight area by Desdune. Devin Boyce snatching it up high. Brigham Larson. It's Azad Liadi rolling by Pelivanov and flashing over goal. Greenville igniting off the counter pressure and getting a good look at target.
I think Osvaldo lay there very, very relieved that didn't go in the back of the net. It was he who lost possession. Just a little bit of an angle for Azad Liadi. It's difficult there to beat the goalkeeper from that far wide on that left-hand side, but Osvaldo lay trying to play up through the middle and losing possession, and that counter-attack. There were lots of green jerseys. Lucky to get away with that one, AV Alta.
That is the danger. Well, AV Alta fashioned their style and reputation in this league. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to be brave about things, but Greenville will have a moist appetite for moments like that. A chance to reach forward with the press, hemmed into the corner here, AV Alta. Gained by Chapo Herrera. Turning out of a tight spot and losing out on the ball. And away they go, Alta on the move. Arriving at the edge of the area, Greenville enforced defensively. Omish lining up Camilo Fritz and blowing right by him. Sizzling skill. And stamped out by Devin Boyce, who had the cover. Look at that Connor Evans, who stepped in. Omish on a straightaway switch. Blurring toward the end line. At the top of the box now. Godwin Antwi. Flag's going to stay down. And it's cries from the Greenville side, and I suppose ball doesn't lie as it's caught by a fan. Out for a goal kick. There is Dave Dixon, just trying to get the beat of things in his first year as a manager. Pleasant to talk to, and you get the sense that Dave is eager to solve the problems that are in front of Greenville. Already being willing to adapt his initial plan and try and absorb a more pragmatic approach, you might say.
Yeah, it was a bit frustrating last match against Westchester after 2 good wins, then getting a 4-0 thumping, and he was saying to us he just felt the players might have got a little bit overconfident. 2 good wins, thought they could just sort of relax and go into games, and they were 2-0 down before they knew it. And then just when they thought they might be able to fight back, Amal Knight unnecessarily gets himself sent off, and it wasn't just a red card, it was a penalty as well. Then you're 3-0 down and it's match over. So he just felt there were errors made and things that could have been done better by his side. He wants to see them back with the right attitude, and so far I think he must be pleased. It's been a good start to for the home side.
I think Dave would tell you this, having been around the league for a couple of years in his own right at this point. The level is so much higher than it's ever been. There with more teams the league has ever hosted. Just such a requirement of focus in every game. If you let it slip, if you let the mentality not meet the moment, you will be bloodied in a significant way, and that was the case in Western New York. So far, a much better intensity out of the home team, Greenville, on that away day. Seha Gonzalez all the way back into the goalkeeper, Jibril Doumbia, who's retained his starting privileges today with Denzel Smith on bench to start this game, back in from international call-up with Trinidad.
That's an interesting chat to have, that, because if you're Denzel Smith and you've just played against Russia for Trinidad and Tobago, and you've been the #1, you would sort of pretty much think you're going to come straight back in. He does seem to have a little bit of an injury problem. That might be the reason why he's on the bench, but an opportunity for Doumbia to keep the #1 shirt if he keeps playing well.
Without doubt. He was in the Team of the Week this last week for that clean sheet performance against Spokane. Doumbia, he will remain with a heightened degree of confidence as Greenville bear down on his goal. Segrist goes early for Larson, and Doumbia will beat him to the punch. Maybe take one in his own right.
Just looks like the big man up front, Brigham Larson, just left a foot dangling there and caught Doumbia. I guess it's a ball he has to go for. And you can see his left foot there just catches Doumbia as Doumbia very, very bravely comes out head first and dives on that ball. As a goalkeeper, that's where you can get fingers broken, and it's an occupational hazard. But you do know that the striker is going to go for the ball, and you've got to put your hands out and grab it. Just waiting for the crunch when you get hit. But bravery there from Jibril Doumbia, as we were discussing, is battling to keep that goalkeeper's jersey.
Brian Clavin orchestrating things and likely very concerned about his goalkeeper. The way that AV Alta like to dominate games, it's important for them to keep available subs, so having to make one this early for a non-outfield player would certainly alter the calculus going forward. And Denzel Smith, coming in from international call-up with Trinidad, was playing for the national team against Russia most recently. Been back with the squad for the last week or so. Had to come out of that friendly early for Trinidad. Just a question of whether or not he's fully fit and available. Does give Dave Dixon some time to think about how things have treated his side early on. Are you content with the way Greenville has started coming off that 4-0 defeat against Westchester?
Yeah, much better. Very, very good. They've had a lot of good balls thrown into the danger area. And I think they've asked some questions here. The players are just saying you're going to have to rotate. So it'll be the end for Jibril Doumbia, which is a real tough one for him. Just when he gets a chance to take that spot away from a goalkeeper who's got international class in Denzel Smith. He now seems to have picked up, I'm guessing, a hand injury just by what you see.
It's a tough place to be as a goalkeeper. You're literally in a position where you cannot protect yourself. You have to do the opposite. You just saw Doumbia take the worst of that wear.
That's why they think we're all mad as goalkeepers, and I share their sentiment. Yeah, he's sort of describing his hand came out, the cleat hit his hand, and it's done some damage. And the problem is that it might be broken, or it might just be bruised, but you're catching the ball with your hand. So if you're not feeling the connection properly, you're going to make a mistake. So you have to come off tough, really tough for Jibril there.
Can't tell if he's more upset that he's having to exit the game and not being given the opportunity to play through it, or if the injury is just a frustrating moment for him. A player that in his young career is, for the first time, making a 4th consecutive start at any point as a pro. So you mentioned the mindset of a goalkeeper being a scary place. Let's exist there a little bit longer. Denzel Smith, in this moment, what's he thinking, having to be injected into this game a quarter hour in?
Well, as a keeper, you don't generally think you're going to play, because it's very rare that goalkeepers get injured. It does happen, of course, but he's got to switch his mind on now. He's probably sort of fairly relaxed on the bench. Now he's got to focus, but he'll also be aware that this is his chance to get his place back. He would have been annoyed to be left on the bench. No question, as an international player, that you feel it's your right to come back and get your goalkeeper's jersey back. So he'll be wanting to kick in. He'll also be a little bit concerned that you don't want to make mistakes coming off this cold. So he's going to have to really get into the game quickly, keep himself warm, run up and down, make sure his body temperature goes up and gets focused and into this game. There's a long way to go in this game. He wants to make sure that he comes out of this looking good.
It's not like he was playing poorly, and that's why he lost his job. 9 starts this year, 3 clean sheets. It's been very good. Just had his manager make the decision to stay with Doumbia ahead of him for the last couple of games. As you said, get the real chance to get his job back and really cement himself as the primary starter. Last year against Greenville posted a season-high 7 saves. He'll have to be ready right and early. Didn't really look like he got much of a warm-up either.
I mean, fortunately for him, it's only 17 odd minutes into the match. He would have got a warm-up before the game. So yes, his body temperature has cooled down, but he should be able to step into the game fairly quickly. But it's more the mind, it's focusing your head around what you have to do. He's been traveling back from Russia. He's left out the team. You know, his head could be elsewhere. And right now he's thinking to himself, all right, I've got a job to do. Last thing you want to do is come in here and have a bad game. It's your chance to keep that jersey. And it's tough for Doumbia to lose that jersey straight away to an injury. But, you know, all's fair in love and war. And as far as he's concerned now, he's got a chance to take that #1 jersey and not give it back at all, Denzel Smith. He wants to hold on to it now.
Greenville would love to put him to a test straight away. Out for a throw. Prepping for the long throw. Not much runway, as we've noted a couple times in these first couple of games at GE Vernova Park. Got to say, this is a new technique, putting a foot on the ad boards for the throw. Popped into the area dangerously. Just skirting the head of Anthony Patti and out for a goal kick. Contesting the space again, the triumph. Forced all the way back to the end line. Maybe Alta finding it difficult to move through the teeth of this press. Brendan Fricke will smash it into Rosette. Join the Greenville Triumph on July 8th for Healthcare Heroes Night, presented by Prisma Health. Help us celebrate the dedicated healthcare professionals who keep our community strong, cheering on the Triumph at GE Vernova Park. That's against Sarasota Paradise in what will be an all-important tie as we go into the middle of the fixture list. Evan Lee, stout tackle. Dispossessing Anamomesh. There's Connor Evans. Cunning bit of play to work through the gears. Now in behind, something building for Greenville. Larson moves himself free into the middle. The referee has summoned play back for a foul.
He's not arguing Brigham Larson, so perhaps he was holding there, but it didn't see much. Thought he did well to hold up the ball, turn the defender.
It was him and Pelivanov that were engaged. It seemed like each player was equally intent in grabbing some cloth. And Dave Dixon voicing his discontent. If his player wasn't protesting, the manager's gone in the book with a yellow card. Was that something you like to see as a player? Manager being up and active and in the referee's ear like that?
I think up to a level. You know, you want your coach to have that passion and want you to succeed. I think one has to temper it a little bit and stay within the boundaries as much as you possibly can. I mean, we saw from the World Cup even today that the German coach screaming and shouting and remonstrating, but I would suggest he's under a little bit more pressure than Dave Dixon is, just a bit.
Osvaldo Lay. Alta have yet to assemble a signature long procession of passes. Halfway through this first half in the state of South Carolina. Searching ball in behind from Pelivanov and a clever flick on header from Patti.
Again, very vertical from the back there. They knock it around, and then suddenly bang all the way down the pitch. Lose possession. I'm not quite sure that AV Alta have got this directness the way they want it just yet.
They do enjoy playing on the shoulder of the last man. Called for a league-high 31 offsides this year, AV Alta. Not really summon that actual connection in behind, though. Ceja Gonzalez.
About AV Alta, they're knocking it around with confidence, and why wouldn't you? 6 wins and 1 draw from your last 8 matches. I mean, they are playing so well, home or away, that I think the belief in the team is that they just keep playing their style of soccer, and they will get the result, or they get a good chance of getting the result. I think that's the benefit of that confidence. And that was after a rough start for AV Alta. It's amazing how Brian Claiborne and the rest of the team have managed to turn this around. It really has been an impressive run these last 8 games.
Fighting the press here, playing out of it brilliantly until they immediately give it away. Chopper Herrera going for goal. Off the ricochet, Larson brings it down. Now Segrist. And Denzel Smith will make his first catch of the match. And there's a sense of opportunity on the front foot. Jerry Desdune. Homish. Shovels centrally, spotting up his Antwi with lift over Lee. Flags down for Omish. Saved away by Seth Dorman. It's still there for Adam Omish, cutting in. And the settling touch lets down maybe Alta player in the dangerous area.
Clever move there from AV Alta. This little ball over the top, absolutely top class. He's onside, Adam Omish. It's a shot on target, and you know, sometimes those balls can slip between your legs, so Seth Tolman doing well to get his knees down to block it, but the original ball being played in, I think, from Godwin Antwi was absolutely top class over the top. Now, that's a little bit better for me from AV Alta. The long ball out of defense, a hopeful one. I think they're such good players. They don't need to, you can do it occasionally, of course, but they've done a lot of long vertical balls, and I prefer to see them play through the lines because they're such good players.
You were making the point earlier about the rough start and them being able to keep their heads in the midst of what was serious adversity early for Alta. You mentioned the players and what they've been able to do. It's an AV Alta team that, by the design of Brian Claiborne, it's a lot of players off the scrap heap. Not a ton of the typical recruiting profiles you see in this league. And that's allowed Brian Claiborne to mold this team into a group of real true believers in the style. And now they're playing with the swagger that comes from that. Desdune.
There's something else about this AV Alta side is they're a lot younger than Greenville Triumph. Dave Dixon's got a number of players in their late 20s, 30s, whereas I would guess the average age looks like it's around about 28-ish. For AV Alta, they're a lot younger, 22, 23s, 24 maybe, a couple 25, 26. So average age of 23 versus average age of 28. That's a big, big difference in the roster.
Striking in towards the top of the box. That was ripped at Seth Dorman. There was an Adam Omish in his face to stick it home. If he had let it loose, good catch from the goalkeeper.
Antwi just comes inside there and lets rip. And you're right, it's the holding of it that makes it a good save. All goalkeepers would be expected to get there and get the ball, but some would drop it at the feet of Adam Omish, and then you're 1-0 down, but he held on really well there, Seth Torman. Another decent save from the man who's having to step in for Amal Knight, who's suspended.
I know coming up, again, a much less acclaimed goalkeeper in my own right than you, sir. It was always the difference between being a shot blocker and a shot stopper that separated the players who got the play and the players who didn't, much like myself.
Yeah, it's reading of the game, it's knowing where the players are around you, so if you are going to knock it out, you knock it out in an area where your defenders are, not where the attackers are. And that awareness is not always easy, because you're having to watch for the shot, you're having to look through legs to see the shot. So to your point, the more experienced and the more successful goalkeepers are those who can see what's going on with a greater sense of clarity.
Dave Dixon went as far as to say that Seth Torman had a chance to win this job, flat out. All Knight's been very up and down in his time. Gets the red card last game and effectively sends it fully pear-shaped for Greenville against Westchester. Seth Torman playing with the kind of intention and fervor that you would expect for a player that's trying to get more playing time as he sticks it out of harm's reach.
I saw some stats somewhere about Amal Knight, not trying to knock him, but He's got a fair number of red cards in his career.
Most by any goalkeeper in the history of the USL League One.
That's not a stat you want to have. So, and he did kick out unnecessarily in that last match. And as we said, not only got himself sent off, but gave away a penalty, which really killed him. So, as good a goalkeeper as he is, Amal Knight, he's probably sitting down, probably watching this match. I don't assume he's travelled. He's probably thinking, well, I need to change, otherwise I will lose my job to someone like Seth Torman.
It is only the 2 red cards and another one for a second yellow, but despite it not being a very high number, it still is concerning that it's a number at all.
Yeah, I mean, most goalkeepers would go through a 10, 15-year career without being sent off once.
Not for a throw. I'm not even going to go as far as to ask if it ever happened to you.
No, it didn't. So you can ask. That's why I mentioned it. The 15-year career, never got sent off. Wow, I got booked only once. For some, goalkeepers don't need to get involved in that. You're normally the recipient of being bumped and pushed, and yeah, you might get one, maybe 2 in an entire career if you get involved in scuffles you shouldn't get involved in. But generally speaking, goalkeepers are meant to keep out of trouble, keep away from problems.
Speaking of, maybe some problems landing in the lap of Seth Torman in the imminent future. Alfredo Ortiz and Des Dune. That's a delightful ball wide. Even better touch out there. Now they've got the rhythm and rhyme, AV Alta. Villalobos. Ivanov. Godwin Antwi. Will have at least effectively slowed the tempo a little bit defensively. Streaking running behind, the flag pops up for offside. It's Christian Ortiz that they got. Turn to CBS Sports Network on Wednesday, July 1st for a USL League One showdown. Spokane Velocity hoping to speed past the formidable Flamingos of Forward Madison FC at 9 p.m. Eastern. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. Again, that's on July 1st. The copywriter had a ball writing that.
Just looking at Greenville now, after a very good start, they just seem to have lost a little bit of control of this game. AV Alta knocking the ball around, probing, shots on target, 0 for the home side, 4 for AV Alta. Here they go again. They're just beginning to dominate. And if I was Dave Dixon, I'd be thinking we need to get back in this game somehow.
Don't look now, Pilivanov is down. Team's leader in minutes. Only player in the squad that's played all of them today. And with already 1 injury change made in this half for AV Alta, they're staring down the barrel, only having 1 available substitution window in the second frame.
It's Brigham Larson, who I don't think he did anything. It looks like Pilivanov headed into the back of his head, and we did suggest early on that with the big man Brigham Larson playing, it was going to be a tough day for the AV Alta centre-backs. Well, already 1 bang in the head. Again, nothing untoward that I could see, just a natural clash of heads as both players committed to going for the ball. But that's the problems, that if they can get service, which they get, just going back to that point, the first 10 minutes or so, I thought Greenville triumphed on the front foot, whipped in about 3 or 4 crosses into the box. We talked about Brigham Larson just not quite, getting on the end of them, but certainly threatening. And then last 10 minutes, nothing. It's mostly been AV Alta, and when they get on the front foot, they've got some real talent and attack. Nice football, so a little bit of concern there for Greenville Triumph and some of those fans that we saw in the picture.
Triumph fans, this one's for you. Before or after the match, swing by Bridgeway Brewing Company, your local sports bar and hangout spot. Catch the action on 15 TVs. Enjoy great food, craft beer, and bowling with your crew. Open 7 days a week. And just the place to keep the match day energy going. Proud supporters of the Greenville Triumph. Eat, drink, bowl, stay a while. Can't imagine what's on the TVs these days. It's not like there's a big summer tournament or something happening. It does look like Pilivanov is set to re-enter the game at the next opportunity. For the time being, though, down to 10 men for AV Alta. Pilivanov has just about come back on. This is a big moment for Greenville, starting to get bent back a little bit. Just being able to put the foot on the ball and generate something. Get some momentum back in the game. Fritz, and it's a throw. Much more clearance on this touch line for long throw attempts. With only 2 goals in their last 8 league games. As we come around the final bend in this first half, can they hit the head, go forward with the go-ahead? It's Asad Liadi lashing at one. He's launched it over goal despite some serious ambition.
Well, that starts at the near post with Brigham Larson winning this ball here and flicking it on them. From that moment onwards, a little bit of sort of space for the players to maneuver. Patty just hooks it over his shoulder, and Liadi has a chance there. Acrobatic, a scissor kick.
Devin Boyce has the sense, wriggling free. Can't slash away from Pelivanov, but still with the triumph. Patrick Segrist and Liadi, the leading man. Connor Evans with an angle for a cross, instead picks out Chapa Herrera. Ball in, off the head of Liadi, and it goes glancing over goal. First time we called his name all night, we called again in quick succession.
Yeah, much better. The last couple of minutes, home side, Greenville Triumph have started pushing forward. Again, it's a ball from the right-hand side, this time from a throw-in that causes problems. It's going to be their strength. Maybe they don't have the ability on the ground that AV Alta has, and I think Dave Dixon would be the first to say that, and he did say to us, in fact, that AV Alta, a fantastic footballing side. You can see the quality of players they have. So, you've got to find a different way to attack, and with a big central striker like Brigham Larson, getting balls wide and whipping them in might be their modus operandi for success.
All the best moments for the Triumph have come when Brigham Larson has forced them to declare a certain direction, and then immediately we've seen Devin Boyce be able to pounce and win the second ball. 10 minutes left in the half, and still no separation. It's loose. Devin Boyce was hesitant to go in for it. And that's because there was a hold-up being caused by some illegal defending. Free kick to come for Greenville.
Brigham Larson causing problems again. This is what they have to do. He's that big. And as a centre-back or defender, you sometimes have to have illegal means there, and you can see that Eric Gonzalez was pulling his shoulder. Referee could see it clearly. Larson goes down. Now this is what Greenville Triumph want. And it's not just Brigham Larson. He can pull defenders away and allow the likes of an Evan Lee or an Anthony Patty to come in there and do some damage.
Triumph were lethal on these dead ball situations a year ago. One of only 3 teams in the league yet to have a headed goal this year in USL League One play. It would be an opportune time. Patrick Segrist as well as Devin Boyce providing the initial spark over the ball. Denzel Smith having subbed into the game earlier under duress. Good ball, down by Larson. He was alone in the spotlight and he sprayed it wide.
That was the chance, perfectly put on the big man's head. He'd lost his marker. Look at it from Boyce. As a guest, you're thinking that's a goal. It's got to be, or at least got to be on target. Yeah, and he puts his head in his hands. He knows straight away that was the one. You might not score, but you've got to force Denzel Smith into a good save then. He didn't do either. Just puts it wide of goal, and it's a big opportunity missed by Brigham Larson.
He's not giving up the fight yet, winning the ball back high. He has been the blunt instrument that's been causing all the harm for Greenville at the front, the big man. Camilo Fritz, fleet feet. Liadi brings it down. It was a fabulous first touch. As it's popped away from his grasp, it will be a corner kick. This is much more like it from the Triumph.
This is the way for them to play. Set pieces, balls in the box. This is when they can cause trouble. Again, if you're a defender for AV Alta, you're looking for Brigham Larson and you're thinking maybe we need to put 2 people on him. One in front, one behind. And of course, that once again opens up a little space for an Evan Lee or an Anthony Patty to get on the end of this corner.
One that belongs to Devin Boyce. The Dynamo creator within swing. Larson was waiting on it, never really got off the ground. Back in by Segrist. Larson does rise this time. Down by Potty. Oh, what a hit! It's the captain! Brandon Fricky beams Greenville to the good. 1-0 to the South Carolinians.
Grade 5, look at those fans loving every minute of it, but how did it start? Brigham Larson won a header, and from there they were able to get it to Brendan Fricky, who really finishes it off in style. But here we have a look. Look at big number 17. He gets blocked initially, and he's being held there. The ball gets cleared by Osvaldo Lay, but then they recycle it back in. And it is the big man who then wins it. What a nice volley. Coming from his center back. It's a wonderful volley there. Brigham Larson with the initial header, and then Brendan Fricky. Fantastic volley, my son.
Brendan Fricky says, here, have this. His second goal of the year. They've both been fantastic hits. And boy, did Greenville need that. It is a YMCA Greenville goal. It is a Brandon Fricky goal. The league's all-time minutes leader gets his first at GE Vernova Park. Now they must protect it for the next 5 minutes and whatever resides on the other end of stoppage time. Omish. Oh, he is ranting at the gods. He thought he won that clean. The referee had other ideas.
Hey, I agree with him. I thought he won a clean and beat. Don't go demonstrating too much, you know, pointing at the sky and everything else. It's very clear you're having a go at the referee, so, and then he's applauding as well. Be very careful you don't pick up a yellow card, but it did seem at first glance like a harsh decision.
Don't miss your chance to rep the Greenville Triumph with our latest merchandise. Head to www.shopgreenvilltriumph.com to gear up with the latest official merch, from kits and scarves to hats and more. You're cheering in the stands or watching at home. Show everyone who you support. Your merch today, you're green with pride. It is the Sutton Green, barricading their own 18. Desdune, who's always lurking in the shutout. Devin Boyce, who's won the ball for Greenville. Larson can't provide the outlet though. Villalobos. Queuing wide. Christian Ortiz. Striking ball across the goal mouth. A rip down from Omish. Has to be dancing on very thin ice now. It will just be a goal kick. Play that ball is a Select ball, and Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier. USL Championship from the grassroots to the pros. Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select's the player's choice. All right, Gary, you've had a moment to assess the game settling in lieu of the goal. How does that change things as we approach halftime?
Well, it's two different styles for me in the sense that AV Alta, they need to get the ball up front and use their skills to play the ball around. Brigham Larson is causing more problems. But just talking about him, he's changed this team just by his arrival, because now if you're a player looking at him, you're thinking, guys, I don't need to do anything other than get the ball to him. So let's get it wide, let's whip it in, let's win free kicks, let's win corners, let's get throw-ins. You might not want to play that style of soccer. You might feel that's sort of more blue-collar-ish, but hey, if it works, you take it. And I think Brigham Larson is allowing them to play that way. And of course, you've got Azad Liadi there as well, who can, if you take your eye off him, his pace will hurt you. So this looks like a big change for Dave Dixon with this signing, and well done for bringing someone as good as Brigham Larson to the club.
Something, quite frankly, they've massively missed. Leo Castro, an aging player, 36 years old, although he's the all-time leading goal scorer for Greenville and was a leading scorer a year ago. Been injured this year. They haven't had the big man to play off. Larson has instantaneously, as you said, changed this team, and they are looking for more now. Camilo Fritz searching in for Larson, just gets beyond him. And now for a goal kick.
I was going to say, sorry, he's been pulled a lot, Brigham Larson. Someone's going to give away a penalty if they're not careful there. Osvaldo Lay had his hands all over him once again.
On the other end, it's Alta. Fredo Ortiz. Greenville being very narrow in their defensive posture, denying any access to the central space. For throw. We'll return to what you were saying about Brigham Larson. Just seeing every time there's a cross or a ball in from deep now, Alta are condensing more and more toward his gravity. At some point, either he's going to win a penalty, or it's going to bounce free for a second man runner to stick it home.
Yeah, I think they picked out Osvaldo Lade and said to him, come and help out with Pelivanov and see if you can get in front of him, one in front, one behind. But Lade's had his hands on Brigham Larson a few times, had his arm around his neck at one of the corners 5 minutes ago. You know, referees don't have VAR, so you can probably get away with a lot as a defender, but if the referee sees you do something, to your point, it might very well be a penalty. So they've got to tread carefully, Alta at the back, and it's not a problem that they have had, or would have had, if it wasn't for Brigham Larson.
Brandon Fricke there to deal with the danger, the goal score. It was a burgeoning piece of play. Alta trying to get Desdune in behind. He's not had much joy so far in this one. 4 goals, 3 assists for him on the year, been one of the league's best. No fingerprints on the contest today, though. Samuel Gonzalez. Falls free off the first touch of Desdune, who's put to ground. Could be a dangerous set piece here.
I don't know if they have the same aerial threat that Greenville Triumph have, and they might just want to knock it around and try and get down the line and use their skills on the edge of the box. It's been moments from Adam Umesh where he's so exciting, so dangerous, but to your point, we haven't seen Jerry Desdune do much. And you want to, if you're Alta, you want to see him more in attack than he has been so far.
It can happen so quickly with the caliber of creators in this Alta team, but none of them have found the groove yet. Something that will dance in the mind of Greenville as they try and protect this lead. 7 minutes of stoppage time is the word. Had that long pause in play with the injury. Starting goalkeeper Jibril Doumbia, the source of much of it. And Seth Torment arrive on the scene just at the edge of his box and take it off the bounce.
He judged that very well, Seth Torment, because for a second now I thought he'd waited too long, but there was a player coming in there from Alta, and he just managed to get that ball inside the box. So good goalkeeping again from Seth Torment.
He hasn't had a ton of high difficulty work to do. Had that one stop early from a narrow angle. Ball in, and Denzel Smith will rise to it. You can just tell in the way he's moving, Seth Torment, and the actions he's taking. Very focused goalkeeping so far. It's a dangerous ball, and it's given away. Larson again on the business end. He's got Devin Boyce for company. Bit of an aimless ball in as nobody was home. Chopper Herrera, the only man in the 18.
No, he was meant to be there, Brigham Larson. You want him in the box, not the one serving the ball in. So maybe he could have just kept it there, played it wide, and then turned and got himself in the box. But on debut, he's had a very, very impressive game so far. Only 20 years of age. Because of his height, he looks older. He looks more mature than just 20.
I'm just racking my brain throughout the course of this Greenville season, failing to find a single individual player that's made this size of impact in a game at any point this year. And for a team that is searching for a protagonist to announce himself, massive debut, first half almost done.
And I think it's been a surprise for Alta. They probably came here thinking we'll play our game. We're so good on the ball. We're so dangerous up front. We're scoring goals for fun. That, you know, they must have felt very confident, but he has forced them to come back and defend it. They've had to drop Osvaldo Lay a lot deeper, and they're just a lot more worried about the damage he's doing, so they can't play as much of their own game as they would like.
Very difficult to force Alta's attention away from what they're doing and what they have control of. Greenville have effectively done that. They have played heel in a resounding way. Covered by Camilo Fritz. It's important to note at this point in the game, maybe Alta are in a situation in this venue. Greenville have only conceded 1 goal across the 180 minutes coming into this game here at home. So even for as potent a team as Alta are, not going to be an easy climb back even at 1-0.
Plus all the travel to get here, you've got to bear in mind that there's a lot more going on. It's a turf pitch, they've got to get used to it. At least Greenville have had 2 matches on it, so all those things are in favor of the home side. But again, when they're on the ball, the quality of AV Alta is there for all to see, and they've been very efficient in front of goals. Their last 3 matches have all been wins, and yet their XG has been fairly similar to the opposition, which shows you that when they get near the box, they can be very dangerous.
Apropos, they have a free kick in prime real estate. Now this is an Alta team that scored more direct free kick goals than any team in the history of the league. Last year, as you get another look back at the foul, it was Bahenia carrying it forward into the dangerous area and seeing the leg left out, going to ground. 6 goals last year from direct free kicks. All of those were scored by Eduardo Blancas. He's obviously not with the team now. Can they score their first this year? They're in prime position to do exactly that. Erase all the good work that Greenville have done in this first half. Adam Omish casting a menacing shadow. It's a 5-man wall, which should leave some Alta players free for the rebound. It is to come off a carom. Seth Torment stand out as he stepped back into the starting 11 today in goal. Adam Omish saved away again. Seth Torment stands his ground and makes sure it stays 1-0.
Good save from the goalkeeper. It's coming so hard, you can't really hold on to it. You could try, but it's risky. Instead, he just palms it out away from danger, doesn't drop it to anybody, gets it far out of the box, and Greenville survives. So good first half from Seth Torman.
Gonna have to hang on for just a little bit longer. It seems that AV Alta have cut the set. Down the far touchline, funneling forward in force, AV Alta. Antwi with a twist and a turn. Runs into stout defending, provided it looked like Connor Evans there. He will nearly give it away. And goal kick. It was heart and mouth a moment ago. Seth Torman making a save. Those fans happy to be exactly where they are right now in this game and in this venue. And a good time to tell you soccer season is here. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. Ticket to great seats. I understand that you secured some tickets to World Cup match not a couple days ago. South Africa and Chechnya.
Yes, I did. Went to watch them up in Atlanta. And it was a great experience. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, first time there, fantastic stadium. South Africa took 80 minutes to get going, but when they did, they played really well. And just to go to a game at the World Cup is a special event. So I hope many people get that opportunity. There's more teams, more games, which means more tickets. So hopefully when it's all done and dusted, a lot of Americans will look back at this tournament and really enjoy having hosted it and been part of what I think so far is probably the best World Cup I've ever seen in terms of fan engagement, host nations all doing well. It's all going according to plan so far.
Can't think of a single dud game across all that we've seen. Closing down on what the final phases of the second round of matches. Also helps the U.S. is playing better than they quite literally ever have.
Absolutely brilliant. Best, I agree with you, best I've seen them. Canada doing well, Mexico, so all 3 host nations looking good.
Bahenia trying to sneak one in just underneath the curtain. Past the 7 minutes given, and for that reason, Mohamed Kalia will end proceedings. And it's Brendan Fricky of all people who's the point of difference. The center back stabs one in and makes it 1-0. All that there is to report so far in Malden. Seth Torman has held his nerve in goal and seen to it nothing has blemished his score sheet. And we hit the break. So it is go Greenville, the triumph. Having only scored 2 goals over 8 games heading into this match. Get one in the first half. As they go to the dressing room, have something to defend. AV Alta will hope to find the updraft and protect that 7-match unbeaten streak. We'll pick through all the bones on the Upstate Spine and Sport halftime report. That is up next here from Malden. At the break, and the Reedy River Riot are rollicking in what is a 1-0 advantage at the intermission. Greenville up on AV Alta. Again, the Upstate Spine and Sport halftime report in full swing, and a chance to examine the team of the week in the USL League One. A lot of AV Alta players frequenting this squad throughout the year, but especially this week. Jibril Doumbia has already had to come out of our game today. The goalkeeper for this bunch, Christian Ortiz, and Jerry Desdune also featuring in the squad for the heroics of that 1-0 victory over Spokane Velocity over last week. As we get a chance as well to take a look at some of the highlights from around the division. The play of the week, the save of the week coming to you now.
Back for Desdune. Lovely build here. Jerry Desdune drives it central. Ortiz backs it. Sheer brilliance. AV Alta.
This goal is all about confidence for AV Alta. Jerry Desdune takes on his man, exchanges an excellent wall pass with Adam Almesh, and he's off to the races. Numbers in the box. Watch Ortiz point to where he wants it. He finds the space at the top of the box. This bold first-time finish is your select USL League One goal of the week.
Faces another penalty, this time on the opposite side of halftime. And it's saved by Torment.
So does for a comfortable height for the goalkeeper.
Alexandra! Spokane opens the scoring. Carmichael volleys, it scores! And it's 3-1 forward Madison.
Now and then, you need to stop and smell the roses, or the leaves, rocks, trees, sticks, and that one tree again.
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay gente revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol. Estamos esperando a un gol. ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Qué maneja un futbolista? Llegamos por fin. Ay, bendito sea el chapar, doctor. Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Pasa al norte!
A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso.
¡Listo, vamos!
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we're proud to be a family-owned practice, serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
At the break, plenty to celebrate here in Malden for the home side. Greenville triumph. A goal out in front of AV Alta, trying to spoil one of the best unbeaten runs in the USL League One, and well on their way. With the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I am Peyton Gallagher. As we take a look at all the scores rolling in from around the division, plenty of big business. Richmond Kickers, their first game without Darren Sawatsky. He's made the move to join the Cascades project in Eugene. They are 2 goals down to Fort Wayne as Brian Ownby has his first match in the technical area as the caretaker manager. Chattanooga Red Wolves and FC Naples are scoreless at the break, with plenty of appetite-whetting fixtures coming up all throughout the course of the day today. Boise and Union Omaha, that's a big one at 9:30 p.m. Speaking of upcoming schedules for these two teams, we'll be away at Charlotte Independence. Up next, Greenville Triumph, a homecoming for Dave Dixon, who was an assistant there for Mike Jeffries the last couple of seasons. Before returning home to see Sarasota Paradise, they will have to go on the road to face the New York Cosmos. Richmond Kickers next up on that schedule on July 11th. That will be the final day of play in the Prince Tires USL Cup. For AV Alta, this is what is on tap. It is a road slate for them. They star-spangled the entire country at Corpus Christi in Texas next on June 24th before kicking off the month of July with the league leaders at Union Omaha, and then seeing Charlotte Independence, 2 of the top teams in the entire division, on the back end of this upcoming slate as we move into the month of July. For more on what's going on around the USL League One and USL Championship, we now check in with Dan Lucas.
It is halftime in League One. We'll get back out to the second half in just a bit. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with some of the headlines from the week. Charlotte Independence continued its hot streak last weekend with a 4-3 win over FC Naples. That's 7 League One victories in a row, 10 straight unbeaten in all competitions. Golden Boot leader Luis Alvarez has led the charge with 8 goals and 2 assists during that stretch. AV Alta heating up as well with its 1-0 victory over Spokane Velocity. Velocity. The club is now unbeaten in 7 straight League One matches with just 2 goals allowed in its last 6 games. Last week, Sarasota Paradise acquired League One living legend Emiliano Terzaghi, and he contributed immediately with a goal in Sarasota's 2-0 win over Union Omaha. From 2020 to 22, Terzaghi made his name with 3 consecutive League One Player of the Year awards, the Golden Boot in each of those seasons, and a Players' Shield with Richmond Kickers. He now owns 63 regular season goals in his League One career. Upcoming national spotlight games in the Championship and League One. Wednesday the 24th, Colorado Springs and San Antonio on ESPN2. July 1st, Spokane and Forward Madison on CBS Sports Network. And the next day, AC Boise and 1 Knoxville on ESPN2. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. Rolled up sleeves, breaking through, growing power to meet growing needs, working to run the world on smarter energy every day, taking power where the grid's never been, then getting up and doing it again. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
Soy María, una de las asistentes que habla español aquí en Johnston Orthodontics. Estamos listos para brindarle un servicio excepcional y estar con usted en cada paso de su viaje dental. Llámanos y programa tu cita hoy.
Your family's safety starts with knowing that severe weather is coming. Early and accurately, right at rush hour.
Straight line damaging winds.
The Fox Carolina First Alert Weather Team prepares you when and where to expect storms, what to do next.
How important it is to get to your safe space.
Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Braves, Charlotte Hornets, Carolina Hurricanes, Greenville Drive, Greenville Triumph, Greenville Swamp Rabbits, and more. They all play here. Palmetto Sports and Entertainment, Channel 21.2 with antenna, Spectrum 703.
Ya está aquí el momento de hacer historia. Mundial de la FIFA por Telemundo.
Scenes here from South Carolina as we build towards what should be an all-important second half. Greenville trying to get back amongst the wins against AV Alta, trying to defend their home patch here at GE Vernova Park. With the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, focus on Peyton Keller. This was the sight and sound of a first frame that has Greenville feeling good at the break, but it wasn't really starting that way early. Adam Omish missing out in the early going with a save from Seth Torman.
Seth Torman doing well to get his knees down and make sure it didn't go between his legs, but a good pass there from Godwin Antwi on the edge of the box.
And on into the 27th minute as AV Alta continue to mount pressure. This time it would come from the opposite flank as cutting in, having a shot from distance would be Godwin Antwi. Another strong pod stop from Seth Torman. It would become a theme. And into the 38th minute, Greenville against the grain would find their go-ahead. A knock-on from a corner would be circulated towards the top of the box, re-entered. It would go center back to center back and pop. 1-0 Greenville find the edge against AV Alta.
Yeah, Brigham Larson doing so well to win that header there and get it all the way through to Brandon Fricke, who volleys it into the back of the net. Fantastic little moment there for the home side, and then again threatening AV Alta. Umesh with a shot. And once again, Seth Torman comes up with a decent save, pushes the ball away from trouble.
As you take the account of all that we saw, those numbers will tell a tale that 1-0 is probably not going to be good enough in this game for Greenville with how much danger AV Alta have created.
Look at the possession they've had, 72%, so they are capable of creating more chances, but all the time they can whip balls in for Brigham Larson. There could be a chance for Greenville Triumph to get a second goal and maybe put this one to bed. So the threat for the crosses and the aerial ball and set pieces for Greenville Triumph versus the possession and control and good skills of AV Alta.
Alta have scored 12 goals over the run that they've had in the league. Only conceding 2. Now you can make it 3. All indications when you examine the auguring of that first half would say that AV Alta are good for at least one in this game. It sets the terms and conditions of what should be a really scrumptious half of play here in the state of South Carolina. The only one change was made in that first half. That would be Denzel Smith subbing in to replace Jibril Doumbia in goal. As we can see it, both sides appear to be unchanged coming out of the dressing room. Connor Evans waiting for the green light. We are off and underway. Very important 45 minutes coming for the Greenville Triumph as they try and see this one out. Find some confidence coming off that thrashing against Westchester in their last match, 4-0. Down the line it goes and shepherded away from danger. Flip through to Godwin Antwi, who's lost the plot.
Just looking at some of the stats from the first half, and although the possession was 72% for AV Alta, they had less touches in the opposition box than Greenville Triumph. And possession doesn't mean that much to me. I think touches in the opposition box is a better sort of metric for seeing how threatening teams have been. And Greenville Triumph with their slightly more direct play aimed at the big man. Oh.
He won the ball in a good area again. Larson nearly got underneath the guard of the goalkeeper. Denzel Smith able to smother it just barely, but he's getting the ball right away again. That counter press causing real problems for the Triumph. Connor Evans has left the ball behind him.
Good save from the goalkeeper. Took a while for Larson to actually get that shot off, but in the end, Denzel Smith just getting enough of a hand to it.
Dumped out a play for a throw and a chance to look back at the chance.
Good win here of that ball there by Segrist. Just sort of settled himself, and maybe the pressure coming in from Pelivanov just put Brigham Larson off enough for Denzel Smith to make that save.
Almost as if Smith didn't even know anything about that. The ball ended up landing just underneath his hip. Good reaction for him. Able to catch up as that emerged quite quickly for Greenville. Dumped away by Bahena. It's blocked down. Some question as to whether or not it came off a hand, but those won't be answered as AV Alta are underway. Looking for the real chance to open is Des Dune. Pausing, postulating, and pressing it wide. Omish gets by Fritz, gets a shot away, it's blocked.
That's such a good chance for Des Dune, and he's got it to the edge of the box. He's ahead of the defender. I'm thinking, well, take the shot if you think the defender's going to catch up with you. But instead he cuts back, maybe hoping to dribble his way forward, but your first chance is often your best chance, and it's another one that AV Alta have let slip.
Alta are the only team in the league that have yet to score from a corner kick this year. Greenville already did in this game. They've routined something here. Back post ball over Liani, down by Villalobos. We'll get another bite at the cherry. Blazing ball across the box, and Fritz will pick up the pieces. Just advanced to the other end by Devin Boyce off the head of Ortiz. Denzel Smith having to step up out of his area. Nods it away, but Brigham Larson, of course, has the ball again for Greenville. Why pass the ball into the other half when you can just take it off the other team? Been Greenville's approach.
Not a bad approach, but you have to have lots of players up front to do that, and if they can play through your press, then you don't have numbers at the back, so it's always risk and reward.
I think that was the big light bulb for Dave Dixon about what changed for Greenville in terms of their possessional dominance. You look at what they've been over the last couple of games, the snapshot 45% or less of the ball over 6 of the last 7. And the reality is, this is a small field, and it makes it a lot easier to press teams, as Greenville have effectively done so far.
And getting back to that stat we were talking about with possession, 72% for AV Alta, and yet less touches, only 9 in the opposition box at 12 for Greenville Triumph. So Greenville have been getting into dangerous positions. a little bit more than AV Alta have.
And that's the idea, right? Coaches talk all the time about possession not mattering as a stat. That's why. It's the areas in which the ball is.
And then what you do when you get into that area, which is where expected goals gives you an example or a measurement of what you should be doing.
Morrison loses out. And Boyce can't latch on. Good touch there by Omish to bring it under his spell.
I'm talking of expected goals, 0.42 for the home side, and they have a goal. And just 0.23 for AV Alta. So for all their nice touches, clever play, what have you, they just really haven't put Seth Torman under enough pressure. And we saw there with Jerry Desdunes, you get through, you're on the edge of the box, and you want to come back and try and make it a better chance as opposed to just taking the shot.
Chopped in by Liotti. Christian Ortiz does quite well to get out of the straitjacket. Just to advance the point that you're already making there, partner. AV Alta are averaging a league high 26 passes per box touch. For context, the league average this year is right around 19. They have to work harder to get into those dangerous areas consistently. Greenville, without question, forced them to strain, and in saying that, a foul is called. Patrick Segrist picking the pocket of Godwin Antwi. He's got Liotti in the sidecar, and Pelivanov stepped in front necessarily to take that off track. Bahenia. Carving into the channel off the foot of Bahenia, and Seth Torman just about stuff it out. Special thanks to our food partners for helping fuel Greenville triumph throughout the season, supporting our players on and off the field. Whatever nutrition was provided to the Triumph, it was sturdy ahead of this game. A resounding performance 50 minutes in.
There's still work for Greenville to do, though. You would think they'd want a second, obviously, just to give them a little bit of a gap, because AV Alta have the players who can make a goal out of nothing. Adam Umesh being one of them. Jerry Desdunes, who we thought was through but decided to cut back. They can go to the bench and bring on Colin Anderson, who scored last match. Bigger, more sort of target-orientated players. So there's definitely going to be opportunities for AV Alta, but if you're Greenville Triumph and you can just get a second there, it'll take a lot of pressure off. And wouldn't it be amazing for them to get 3 straight wins at their new stadium back-to-back? They will certainly grow in confidence playing here at G. Vanover Park.
A tangle up and a foul is called. Mohamed Kalia probably going to have a much more active type of job in this half. Christopher Franz and Kendall McCardell are the linos today. Islam Peskinar is the 4th official. Driving room out on the wide side. Left off into the middle for Alfredo Ortiz. Desdunes opening up, stuck away by a sprawling and stretching Connor Evans, or rather that was Evan Lee. Connor Evans, Evan Lee, got there in the end. Villalobos. Scouting infield is Adam Omish and Pelivanov. Away by Anthony Patti. Just one away. Greenville just can't lay a glove on the ball right now. And it's immediately out for a Greenville throw. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access. That's on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157, Sirius XM app. Chance to hear what Mike Watson, Devin Kerr do in between calling Lionel Messi matches at Arrowhead Stadium and walking the cat. William Larson takes it down. Plenty of space on the far flank. Joining up and firing a shot was Camilo Fritz, who's creamed it tall. ever so narrowly.
Well, I guess it was worth a shot. You do ask the question, could he have gone wide and whipped it in? If that's where you're getting your joy from, crosses into the box. But if you see it and you're close enough, then nothing wrong with Kamito Fritz having a crack.
That's day done for Godwin Antwi. Brian Klaben choose only to make the one change. It's Elias Omish who's thrown on, the Frenchman who has familial relations already in the AV Alta camp. I think you can put 2 and 2 together that Omish is not a very common last name. So those will be the brothers made wingers for AV Alta. An interesting gambit there from Brian Klaben as Omish gets his first touch. Only making the one sub. He's only got one more substitution window now. At the top of the box, shepherded away by Brendan Fricke. Now a shot from distance. A stunning stop. Whether it was by the goalkeeper or the post, that is the question to answer, but it remains 1-0.
I think it was the post. I don't think the goalkeeper got close from this Desdune shot. Yeah, it thumps against the post, although Seth Pullman was close enough that maybe he feels he would have saved it if it had been inside the post. Goalkeeper still got his clean sheet.
You saw him point up to the sky, awarding some favor to whatever twist of fate saw to it that his goal remained unblemished. Alarm bells ringing though for the home team Greenville.
You just start wondering whether some subs for Greenville in the next sort of 10 minutes would help them, especially someone like Deshane Beckford if he's fit enough to play 30 minutes, and with his pace, bring him on, and suddenly they've got something on the counter attack. You've got the likes of Rodrigo Robles as well, so you've got some really good talent. And you don't want to allow AV Alta to just continue to come at you, so you've got to do something yourself going forward and see what they can cook up here.
Greenville were finally able to use all 5 subs for the first time in the league this year, last game against Westchester. That is not what you want to see. Brandon Fricke is down and ailing, the captain, the man that has made the difference today. His goal is why Greenville out in front, and pretty much you'd have to saw his foot off to get him out of the game.
His goal has made the difference, but once again, the player that's made the difference, I still think it's Brigham Lawson so far, although he's been quiet in the second half. Hasn't quite got the service that he got earlier on. He's had the one shot though, but he has really given them a focal point up front for Greenville triumph.
Desdune, Brendan Fricke not being shy about things, coming straight back into the fray after the injury. Liati flinging himself in, the ball is free. Body is hitting the floor everywhere. Finally, the referee forced into action. I think they may bring it back after an initial advantage was played out.
Well, this is where you would think, just lob the ball into the edge of the box, maybe a yard or two inside the box where the keeper's unlikely to come that far, and ask some of the big boys, in particular Lawson, but of course there's a couple of other big ones there in Fricke, Evan Lee, Anthony Patti, and see what they can do.
Connor Evans, second most dead ball chances created all time last year. Devin Boyce will take this though, maybe a signal of his proficiency. Couldn't get the knock on from Patti. Evan Lee contesting. Undaunted is Omish. And they are streaming forward, AV Alta. Osvaldo Lay stepped right on the ball.
That's your commentator's curse right there.
It's been effective today. Happened 3 or 4 times so far. Bahenia. And Omish. This time it's Elias. Back in for Bahenia. Omish dancing. And it's taken right from his custody as he was flying by. Connor Evans, he dragged him back and come into the foul. It's been much more physical as we approach the quarter-hour mark in this second half of play.
You just wonder what Brian Claiborne said at halftime to AV Alta. And it could very well be along the lines of, yes, we've got all the talent in this locker room, but we need to get stuck into them. they're physically pushing us around and we need to fight back. Certainly we have seen that. They've been a lot more aggressive second half, but still, Greenville Triumph and Seth Tallman in particular have managed to blunt that much vaunted AV Alta attack.
It's Devin Boyce having a pop. Never got full purchase.
Again, it's Brigham Larson who wins the initial header that sets that volley up eventually.
Now 8 shots with 6 landing on target for AV Alta. Technically that one that hit the post doesn't count for that SOT total. Homish on the business end again. Bahenia's his dance partner. Ortiz, Lay, Villalobos and Ortiz. This is clockwork from AV Alta. Connor Evans stiffly in for the tackle, evades him. Away by Devin Boyce. There are just so many bodies in the area condensed for Greenville right now. Just as it would appear AV Alta are starting to pick the lock, there's always another man up for the job.
Like I said, I just think Dave Dixon, looking at it, he must be getting a little bit concerned that they're being pushed back, Greenville Triumphant. But again, there's always the chance, you say, if they just got to keep looking for that little turnover ball in a good area and get the second goal. But, I would suspect fresh legs should be coming on fairly soon for Greenville Triumph, just to stretch AV Alta, stop them from throwing too many bodies forward.
It's part of what bringing in Brigham Larson does. It just pushes another attacking option to the bench. Gives them a little bit more depth. Beckford and Robles, you already mentioned. Jason Forgy getting his first goal for the club and first professional goal in the cup tie against Loudoun last time. Greenville were at home. Down to Ortiz. Bahenia. Ortiz. A soft spot in the middle for Lay. Desdoon. Villalobos. Again, every time it looks like AV Alta are starting to fashion a crack, that's when they break down.
There's so many numbers back with green shirts on, all in that final sort of third, just around the edge of the box in that low block.
Wanted to go quickly. Referee is having none of it. It's another area where having a 6'4" striker helps, defending all these entries into the box.
That certainly is. He's good there as well. I just feel I need to leave some pace up front, just to make AV Alta worried. If this breaks down, are there a couple of green shirts up? It doesn't look, I think everybody is back here defending for the home side.
They're defending as if it were a knockout tournament. That is how precious the points are to Dave Dixon and his team right now. Long set piece awaits. Looks like it's Desdoon casting even longer shadow. Up and over. And I mean that. Goal kick.
Yeah, not the best. There's got to be some strike to beat Seth Tallman from there, because at a slight angle as well.
Join the Greenville Triumph on July 8th for Healthcare Heroes Night, presented by Prisma Health. Help us celebrate the dedicated healthcare professionals who keep our community strong. Cheering on the Triumph at GE Pronova Park. I'm going to give you a guess on how many passes Greenville have had in this half, as we are well over 15 minutes played now.
Where, in their half or the opponent's half?
Just in general.
In general. Not many.
Good guess.
Yeah.
47 total.
Wow.
They've been outpassed by a factor of 3-1.
But they're okay. They're 1-0 up and they're sitting deep, and that's my concern though. When you sit deep, you can say to AV Alta, come on to us. If you lose the possession, but then what are we going to do? When you lose possession, they need a speedster up front, someone that can just knock the ball over the top and go and get that second goal. And that's where, for me, someone like a Deshane Beckford could be a good choice, because certainly Brigham Larson isn't that player.
A swooping switch of play for Ortiz, who cuts it back in. Alive to it was an invigorated Patti as he pushes it out of play. It appears the flag was up regardless. So you mentioned the speedster up top, and Azad Liadi was our spotlight player coming into the game. He's had minimal impact, only 22 touches. Do you think he's got enough in the legs to fill that role?
Well, if he's told to stay up front, the thing is everybody's coming back and defending. So if you're Greenville Triumph, you win the ball, there's no one to knock it through. There's no chance of a counter-attack because there's nobody up there. Liadi certainly would be a possibility with the current players.
Players are claiming Denzel Smith touched the ball with his hand, which would be considered not a handball, but an illegal back pass and an indirect free kick. Well, that is...
I don't think that's going to work. I think that you've got to pick the ball up. You've got to actively gather it in. If it just bumps your hand, I don't think it's worth a claim just to get the referee's attention, but not going to work.
It was. I've never seen anything like that before. It was almost as if they were trying to claim handball on a goalkeeper.
A goalkeeper.
Does look like Dave Dixon is readying a pair of changes. The next potential opportunity, we will see who those players are. He has recalled a couple of familiar faces to the bench. He might get his chance. Yellow card is the call. Connor Evans will go in the book after a harsh tackle on Jerry Desdoon.
I don't know if that's a yellow card. I mean, only way it's a yellow for me is if you're saying they're stopping an attack. It's like a professional foul, but he just put a toe in there and try to pull it out. But anyway, he's in the book, so as we always say, once you're on a yellow, you'll be very, very clever about your next tackle.
That is already the 5th foul of the half on Greenville. Eighth total shared between the two teams, and it'll be Connor Evans who joins Anthony Patti in the book. Patti was booked 2 minutes into the contest. Oh, that's a slick set piece. Omish frees himself up across goal. Goalkeeper no chance to intervene, and is cleared off the line by Patrick Segrist.
That's fantastic defending, isn't it? Just being aware, being in the right place at the right time. Bodies on the line from this Greenville Triumph side. No question at home, they're a different side in terms of their commitment compared to what we saw against Westchester. But Umesh, again, such a clever little player down the lines here. It had taken a deflection. That deflection had beaten the goalkeeper, but Segrist was there.
Corner to deal with. A little bit late to commit was Torman, but ultimately does sink the claws in. A good bit of distribution from the goalkeeper as he looks up and locates Brigham Larson. Boyce and Connor Evans in a two-man game. That's a good ball in behind. Chapa Herrera just missing out. And now the backup goalkeeper is injured. Almost deja vu to how we saw Jibril Doumbia have to exit this game earlier. And if Denzel Smith can't continue, who, mind you, did come into this game nursing a little bit of an injury, it would be a field player in goal the rest of the way.
It's amazing, as you said, it is almost the identical type of injury where the goalkeeper's got to come out, face forward, put his hands on the ball, and then gets kicked. Now, I don't know if it's his hand or it's his face. It looks more like it's his head that took the knock there versus the hand of Doumbia. But either way, brave goalkeeping, and that sort of ball is the one that seems to work best for Greenville Triumph. Just bend it in there, ask questions, and say to all the guys up front, get in there and get on the end of it.
Now there's a lot to sort through here. If it is a potential head injury, AV Alta are allotted an extra sub. Both teams would be allowed to make 6 in that moment in 4 windows as Greenville, right on cue, makes a pair of their own with Jason Borghi as well as Lucas Meek being entered into the game. Regardless, AV Alta, if Denzel Smith can't continue, are seeing this out with a field player grabbing the gloves. That is non-negotiable. What is important to try and get the full accounting of here now is whether or not AV Alta will need to make any changes they want to make the rest of the game now, or if they have another chance to do that because it's a head injury. Just based on the examination, it looks like they're checking out his shoulder. Don't want to speculate. And Denzel Smith is back on his feet.
That's good to see, because that would have been a very rare situation where two goalkeepers get taken off in one match, and both with a similar type of injury. I've never seen, I would never have seen that before. So delighted that Denzel Smith can stay on. You don't want to lose your keeper. Makes it a very unfair game to put an outsider in goals. And there's still 20 minutes left, and there's still a point or three to be won by Denzel Smith and his teammates for AV Alta.
He does not look comfortable, though. Hunched over, and there'll be a real question as to whether or not Greenville can actually examine him.
Well, the referee can insist, I believe, that the doctor has a look at this and makes a ruling, and if the ruling is you can't play, then you can't play. But I guess Denzel Smith has said that he, other than the sore head, he's fine otherwise.
Some drama starting to break out in the late going here in the upstate. AV Alta are compelled down the goal. A match that has more and more tested their fortitude. Omish runs into a wall in the form of Meek, who makes his first involvement. Looks like he will set up as a wingback, something that he's moonlighted as for Dave Dixon over the last month or so. You always just wonder when a long pause in a game might stir something up. For AV Alta, it certainly has. It's Ortiz! Christian Ortiz cuts the whole thing in two. 1-1 AV Alta. The Californians staged the comeback in South Carolina and level this thing at one apiece.
Well, they've been knocking long direct balls all game. It hasn't worked for them until now, but it has. What a lovely ball it was through the middle. From so deep, from 20 yards inside their own half. Maybe not the best defending, and Meeks had just come on as well. Meeks, and maybe he was looking to try and get up the pitch, and it just allows Christian Ortiz to get ahead, but he's quick, head up, does what Jerry Desdoon didn't do when he got through. He continues and finishes it, and that's a really good finish there from the fullback.
Might say that is antithetical to how AV Alta play. Maybe more on that in a moment. Right the other way. Pelovanov does just enough. Meek muscling in. Back across goal, and it's soul searching at the very best. Nobody home. Chapo Herrera. Liotti. Down by Larson and Connor Evans wide. Greenville right back to the task. Liotti just lashing at it. The goalkeeper has flopped at it. No whistle. It hits the back of the net. Now the referee forced to intervene, and Denzel Smith is down again.
I want to see that again as to whether that was a fair header or not. Larson saying he won the ball. If you're a goalkeeper who's been beaten in the air, you are going to stay down. So was there actual contact? Let's have a look. Liotti wins it. I think he wins the header fair and square. Does his elbow hit the keeper? Maybe we can see it again and have a closer look, but certainly if I'm the keeper and I've been beaten, I'm lying down there saying I've been hit and I'm injured, and it's the right thing for Denzel Smith to do. And he's got the free kick, but I'm not entirely convinced that it was a foul.
And again, there's no VAR at this level, so the call stands regardless.
Watch how high Larson gets. So watch him here. He runs, he gets up, he's above the goalkeeper, he heads it. The only question is, was his arm, his leading arm, did that hit the keeper in any way whatsoever? Referee says it does, and cancels, or rather gives the free kick straight away.
And on the other end of the consequence, Denzel Smith is still down, nursing an injury he picked up moments ago, already having come in as the backup goalkeeper. So some real questions will ensue regardless of the outcome. So whether or not AV Alta are putting a field player in net the rest of the way.
I'm not sure how much of that is a really sore injury or a little bit of bruised pride, because as a goalkeeper, you never want to get beaten by someone who outjumps you, because you've got your arms as well. So hopefully he'll be okay. But it has been a tough day for the AV Alta goalkeepers. No question about that.
I don't think they'll be playing many cards on the flight home. I think it will be some closed eyes and much needed rest for both Jibril Doumbia and Denzel Smith. And that man, Dave Dixon, is probably upset with the ruling. I gotta tell you what, at second glance, it certainly looked like Brigham Larson just won the war of wills and won the ball in the air.
I certainly think he won it, just whether his leading arm hits the goalkeeper and maybe the referee feels that's dangerous, but it's difficult to jump without your arm, so I'm not quite sure where Brigham Larson was meant to put his arm. But anyway, it's a mute conversation. The free kick's been given, and both these sides are going to decide, are they going to go for a winner here, or is it, you would think Greenville triumphing at home have to. And that this trouble for AV Alta has come from these crosses into the box, the challenge firstly of Liardi and then Larson there in picture. It has caused so many problems for AV Alta in this match.
Denzel Smith is up. Just catching a swig of water. What is for sure now, we are going to have a mammoth amount of stoppage time on the back end of this 90 minutes. Just now tuning into what's going on. It is 1-1. AV Alta getting the leveler just before what we are seeing now breaking out. It was Christian Ortiz, that creasing run from wingback opening up the game.
Yeah, Lucas Meek just pushing forward. By the way, Des June is the one who knocks that in. He's been dropping deep this entire game. You'd rather see him up front, but in that case, what an assist from Des June, and what a finish from Christian Ortiz. A little bit of role reversal with the fullback getting on the end of the striker's pass. And as mentioned, Lucas Meeks, in fairness to him, he'd just come on, probably hadn't got himself settled, wasn't quite sure who was picking up the runner, and maybe had pushed forward a little bit too high up the pitch to try and bring his extra energy and fresh legs into play, and got caught at the other end.
I didn't catch that Desdune was the initial provider there. That is 4 assists for him in the last 3 games.
Brilliant balls, great awareness. It reminds me of Harry Kane, someone who's a good goal scorer who can drop back into midfield and also be a wonderful creator of goals.
And that movement is what pulled Greenville out of shape and allowed a run from the touchline on one side to be sent up from a pass from the opposite touchline. That's what I was trying to say in lieu of the goal is, in a lot of ways, you would think the quintessential goal for AV Alta would be a 30-pass sequence and a tap-in. That kind of shrewd movement is exactly why Brian Claben has announced himself as one of the elite managers in this league.
And he did say to us that he wanted more verticality, and he got it first half, and it wasn't working for some reason. They just couldn't get the right ball at the right pace, etc. But that ball from Des Dune and the run from Ortiz, absolutely top class.
It can come from anywhere. For AV Alta, 6 different players have scored for them in this unbeaten run that is currently on track to meet 8 games. On the way back to Denzel Smith, his first touch since the stoppage with injury. He'll just boot it as far as he can. Torman takes it tall. Villalobos. Sonolea fumbling first touch, but he's retraced his steps and recovered it. Omish. He just can't get the ball off him. Out for a throw in to come. AV Alta hoping they might have the combination to the lock. Desdune set up the first goal. Ortiz was the one who punctuated. He's got advantage, and AV Alta continue. Look at the intensity in the eyes of Chopper Herrera leading the line. Organizing that block for the triumph. Swashbuckling in, it's Omesh dispossessed. Chopper Herrera taking his chances. Applying himself quite well there. And Larson couldn't make the flick on stick though. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. It is these exhaustive, focus testing type of games, if you can get a result, especially at this point in the season, that mean that much more, can be the catalyst for a run throughout the course of a campaign. Of course, AV Alta already on one. Greenville trying to find their form in the league and get back above the playoff line, having missed it last year, the first time in club history. They've never lost here at GE Vernova Park. Looks like a pair of changes being readied by Dave Dixon. At a glance, it was Rodrigo Robles and Ivan Ajakwa. It's a fabulous challenge. Given right back by Chopper Herrera, though. Desdune marauding. Trying to disguise the ball in for a late arriving Omish run. And away with it. Here's Jason Borgi. Again, just no chemistry, though, trying to build out for the triumph. Desdune. Zambliati attaching himself and shifting it down the line. Brigham Larson into the box. No reinforcements available, though. Greenville happy to just sit on the ball for a moment. Get right on cue, given away. Desdune. That's a fabulous bit of recovery defending from Chopper Herrera. Game starting to open up. Lovanov stepping in. Mahania fighting off Lucas Meek. Winning whistle. Maybe Alta can sense it. Game's starting to lean in their favor. They want to go as fast as possible. Keep turning up the temperature. Play is paused, and Greenville will take the chance, likely to make the change. Also a good time to tell you that you should not miss your chance to wrap the Greenville Triumph. The latest merchandise sent to www.shopgreenvilletriumph.com. You're up with the latest official merch, from kits and scarves to hats and more, whether you're cheering in the stands or watching at home. For everyone who you support, your merch today, and you dream with pride. Getting the chance to do that will be Ivan Ajakwa, as well as Rodrigo Robles, who are injected into the game. Cometh the 83rd minute. Now again, we're expecting pretty heavy helping of stoppage time, so these reinforcements could prove pivotal for the Triumph. It is heading towards one of the lowest ever possession totals for Greenville in a League One game. Under 30% for the majority of this half.
Just wondering how Greenville are going to attack without Brigham Larson, because he's been the focus of so much of the set pieces, balls whipped in. And of course, Zardliadi is still a big player and he can win high balls, and Robles no doubt is decent, but Brigham Larson was causing immense problems.
Snaking run from Omesh, he sneaks it in. It's just blotted out. Of course, the attacking end massively important for Greenville, as they won't really be content with a single point, but much more worried about the defensive work these days. They are dug in without relent from their opposition.
I guess at the end of the day, if you're Greenville Triumph, you're playing a team as good as AV Alta, and the run they're on at the moment is a stunning run. You might say, well, you know what, we gave them a lot of problems, we could have won it, they could have won it, they hit the post, we had chances. They might look at it and say, we're still unbeaten on our new home ground, and we've got a decent point. It's good for confidence, assuming it still is going to be a draw. There's still time left where it might change. So I don't think it's the worst result in the world for Greenville, but they would love to have got a third win out of 3. It would have really made this stadium, GE Vernova Park, suddenly seem like a fortress.
Flying high and all the way back towards Denzel Smith. He hasn't had much to do but sit there and feel his body ache after all the blows he's taken. USL Championship and League One are on the CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day. CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com, USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Sloping into the center circle. There was a collision as both parties had every intent on winning the ball, and they still do. Connor Evans takes it down. Liotti, he can spot the spare man. It's Meek now. And he's made a hash of it in the end. A heavy touch and a foul committed. It was Alfredo Ortiz who was scrambling in to provide that little extra blanket of security.
Did well there, the number 3, to stop that attack, because Meek was bombing into the box, and once you're in the box, then it's very difficult to tackle players. Always worried about giving away a late penalty. So decent tackle from Alfredo Ortiz. Yeah, there was a bit of a fall and a bump here on Des Dune, and he was down for quite a while afterwards. Nothing malicious, and then it all sort of took. There was a one here, they went down, and then there's a tackle here, and Liotti wins it. So it really has been a physical match at times between these two teams.
Neither side wants to let loose the rope. It was Meek who started all that chaos, who got on the end of it in the final phase. Swung in towards the top of the box, taken down. Bahena gets himself loose, gets a shot, gets a glorious goal for AV Alta. Cesar Bahena, a bit of blinding brilliance. And Alta from behind, now ahead.
Joy for AV Alta, but a tough one for Greenville Triumph. They have been under all sorts of pressure here second half. Torman comes out, then he gets himself back in the right place, but there, just that little bit of space that Bahena makes for himself. Just wonder if the defenders could have been a bit tighter. The two of them go for him, and one just gets beat there, and I think was that Fricky who eventually dives in. Maybe could have stood up, but just take nothing away from Cesar Bahena. It's an absolutely brilliant finish, tucked in the corner. And their skills have eventually what looks like won the day for AV Alta, but a tough break for Greenville Triumph.
A gleaming grin from him as the corners of every mouth in the ground turns downward for Greenville. If it stands, it would be some result for AV Alta. You lose your goalkeeper, you go down 1-0 on the road, test it to the absolute maximum. Get a pair of goals against the run of play and find the answer. It will be this man's doing, Bahena, but he's lost out here. Greenville has to come out of their shell in a way they haven't really since finding the go-ahead.
Yeah, you have to give great credit, as you mentioned, to all the defenders, that both goalkeepers, Denzel Smith and Jabril Doumbia, picking up injuries because of these balls knocked into Brigham Larson and the big boys up front. No question about that being a free kick. And Paliv Vanov, he's taken a few knocks as well. When he went up, he bumped his head first half. They've fought and battled. Osvaldo Ley has been trying to watch Brigham Larson, and they've had to work hard defensively, is I think what I'm trying to say in a very labored way. And they've put in a really good defensive shift, AV Alta here. And just at the end of the day, they've had enough up front to grab the 2 goals, but they've had to work so hard and put up with so much pressure from big attack of Greenville Triumph.
And a couple more finalizing changes from each team. Mathias Wienum, an extra defender, 6'3", 25-year-old from Norway coming on. He'll be joined by Nicholas Relaford, as well as the long-serving veteran Miguel Ibarra, Lancaster native, was with Charlotte Independence for a time. It will be Deshane Beckford with his blinding pace and popped collar, pressed into service. Day done for Jerry Desdoon. What a game it was. Got the assist on the opener. Anthony Ponti, the defender for a wide-eyed winger, seems suitable enough for Dave Dixon. Under the Prince Tires USL Cup Game Day Kit Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack up to $2,000. QR code on your screen and enter today. Of course, it will be for Greenville next time out, participating in that Prince Tires USL Cup at Charlotte Independence, still with a chance of winning their group. But they will be entering that game licking their wounds if they can't find something to save face late on in the 7 minutes of stoppage time. Just going back to something that Brian Claben said, approaching this game to both of us. The village is taken to get to this point. They hadn't gotten the results early. Felt like the performances were there. This is now approaching 8 games consecutive unbeaten. He said he's used 21 starters in the 7 games preceding this. Taking the whole roster today to potentially get this over the line, and it's a sign that AV Alta are a legitimate contender in the USL League One in 2026.
It'd be very hard to argue against that summary, because they've been able to take a bashing in the back and stood up defensively. They've shown their quality. They've played vertical balls, and that's where they got the goal there from Christian Ortiz. They've showed skill to get the goal from Behenya. They've got every element of the game they have performed here tonight, and it really is impressive. For Greenville Triumph, I still think they can use Brigham Larson even more, and they might start to be seen as a direct team, but so what? If it gets you results, just balls wide, knock them in the box, get Brigham Larson on the end of them.
It's a useful ball. Brandon Fricke again! He's just missed out. The big man was about to bash through for the brace and save Greenville, but it goes wide.
It just works for them. They're just good at getting on the end of crosses, Greenville Triumph, and Fricke's so unlucky. I didn't see Denzel Smith move for it, so it probably was a good couple of yards wide, but it's what they do well, Greenville Triumph. So embrace it and work at it and just bash teams. And I don't think many teams would want to play against the Greenville Triumph side that has the likes of a Brigham Larson and a Fricke coming at you every set piece.
If there is any silver lining, if this ends up winding up where it is now, it is that Brigham Larson's emergence. Maybe it's Rodrigo Robles' resurgence, but he can't make it stick. Maybe Alta for the first time all night inviting Greenville forward. Game is far from done. Deshane Beckford in combination with Meek in the corner. Jacques was calling for it. Meek has left it in the middle for Connor Evans. Shot coming from distance, and it is harmless. All said and done. What's happening there? Nothing too ill-intended. Alta did lead the league last year. Points gained from trailing positions with 16. About to add 3 more. A dangerous ball into the middle for Osvaldo Lay, but Alta will work it out. Behenya, the man for the moment. His goal is what separates the sides. Down the line, and Brandon Fricke will swoop in to take it back for Greenville. Gotta go. Greenville desperate. That's a clever ball wide for Meek, who gets in across. Ajacqua waiting. Robles thought about the half volley, but it stuck up too long for him to have a pop. Jacques straight to the back of Borgi. Omish. Oh, it's dazzling skill. Still Omish, and Brandon Fricke was the last line.
There's some wonderful touches, Omish. Both of them on both sides of the pitch. Ilias and Adam both have it, but Ilias there with a fantastic run, and it's just wonderful skills to watch.
Maybe Alta angling forward. Evan Lee stepping in and intervening. Well, not won that tackle. It looked like Bahania might be off to the races and running down on goal. Robles walked in for Deshane Beckford. Fiendishly working into the corner and back for Robles. His cross skipped away. It was Fricke again. Well off the mark, all said and told, but that was heart and mouth for AV Alta.
He's such a brave player, Fricke. He puts his head in wherever it is, and if he just flicks that on as opposed to head it, he can flick it to the far post. He might have squeezed it in there.
Just does not seem like it's going to happen today. For Greenville, Denzel Smith can't even take his own goal kicks. Seriously ailing with a couple of knocks from earlier in the game. If Greenville can just put one test to the target, that might be enough. Meek, still Meek, who's trying to play the give and go. Fortunately, he got the give all wrong.
You mentioned the goalkeeper, Denzel Smith. I don't know how bad the injury is, but it's possible that he's played on where he wouldn't normally, but there's no backup keeper. That keeper, Chunkumbia, was also injured. And it's possible that he stayed on.
Looped in towards Liotti, who gets pushed down. The referee not having it, and Denzel Smith will hop on the ball.
That looked like a really good save from Denzel Smith. As we were talking about how he stayed on the pitch when he might otherwise have left, and if that's the case, he's really done his team a big service. This ball comes in, there's a bit of a shove, and then it gets dropped down, and he pounces on the ball.
And there's a red card shown in the direction of the Greenville dugout. And it wasn't a second yellow at a glance, it was a straight red. Dave Dixon was booked earlier in the game, the manager of Greenville. But in all earnesty, no clue who that was shown to. And confirmation, it is Dave Dixon, so he'll miss the next league match at the New York Cosmos.
I'm assuming that he's complaining about the foul potentially for that ball that was knocked down and pounced on by Denzel Smith. It looked like there was something that went on in the box there, and that is what he's upset with.
It was Hassan Liotti who got shoved down. It did look like he was looking for a chance to go down. That does not necessarily invalidate that there could have been a foul. Might be worth another look as things are still being sorted out here.
Again, very difficult for referees. They get one glance, they've got to call it in real time. There's no VAR, there's no hedging your bets. Now have a look there, he's tripped and he goes to ground, does Liotti. And I think that's what they're complaining about, saying he was brought down. As he was about to head it, he was brought down. But whether it was an actual trip or he stumbled, or very difficult to tell in real time. And again, you'd have to go to VAR to be sure, and there is no VAR, so referee's decision stands.
Straight to the corner. That very well could have been a penalty in that moment. Gotta say, do not mind a referee in that position if they are unsure, not choosing to decide the game.
100% correct. Yeah, if you don't see it clearly a penalty, you can't give it, because to be fair, players do dive a lot these days, and so you have to be sure that what you've seen is actually what happened.
Greenville nonetheless provided one last go. Robles. Jacques. Robles again at the end line, and it is the man who scored the opening goal, Christian Ortiz, who will walk it across the line. AV Alta avenge a first half concession and muster a masterful gutty performance on the road. 2-1 the final.
No wonder Brian Claiborne then is hugging everyone around him. It was just a fabulous performance under immense pressure. So frustrating for Greenville Triumph, and we saw the frustration come through with Dave Dixon because they looked like they had everything going their way to win this match. But this team, AV Alta, they fought, they got themselves back in it. Denzel Smith in goals, and before him, Dumbia were brave as could be. The centre-backs got a bashing from Brigham Larson, and then they still have the ability to score two different types of goal. One long ball over the top, quick counter-attack, and one through some wonderful skills there from Bahenia. So for me, it's just a complete performance, but more than anything else, Denzel Smith and Dumbia taking the knocks, and Denzel Smith there playing right through to the end. That shows great courage.
It took a pair of goalkeepers, a whole roster, and buckets of sweat. But AV Alta complete a cast iron comeback in the state of South Carolina to take it, the first team to ever win at GE Vernova Park as a visitor are the Californians. Final score 2-1. We'll break it all down when we return. Full time, and the bell tolls for the visitors. That man scored one for Greenville. It proved not enough against AV Alta, one of the league's most ascendant sides, and you see exactly how much it cost. Denzel Smith gave everything and more for this group from Antelope Valley to come on the road, cross the country, and head back home with all 3 points. With the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I am Peyton Keller. Partner, what a game that was.
Absolutely fantastic.
And sent AV Alta over the line. The full-time stats as they come down ended up with Greenville having the majority of the shots, but when AV Alta are able to put 7 of their looks on target, feels fitting that they scored at least 2.
Yeah, the stats don't really tell you exactly what went on. Yes, plenty of possession, and more shots on target. I just felt some of the big chances, though, fell to Greenville Triumph. And yet, to be fair, AV Alta did dominate so much of the possession, created so many little half chances. I just thought it was two different teams. AV Alta playing good soccer and trying to be creative. Greenville Triumph, power, physical, balls into the box. Fabulous performance by both teams, and keep your head up, Greenville Triumph. I think those wins are going to start coming soon.
Triumph will search the soul. AV Alta sent home soaring. At the final tally of things, AV Alta 2, Greenville Triumph 1. For our entire fabulous cast and crew, and my partner, of course, Gary Bailey. Folks, I've been Peyton Geller. A big one on the road for AV Alta, who harvest all 3 points despite the very best effort of the home-sided Triumph. USL League One season rolls on, but for now, happy trails. 2-1 again, the final.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.